If anybody's watching us, hello. This is the Nerdrotic podcast live from Escondido, California. That's where I am right now. And where are you, Dennis?
I'm in San Diego, where I normally am.
Yeah, we should be like right next to each other, but you know, things worked out that we're only 30 miles apart, but we're still live on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
All right, I am posting stuff right now.
And we should mention, since we are going to be talking about, there are going to be spoilers involved for those of you that are tuning in. So if you haven't seen the movie, you know, turn us off. And because we don't want to hear any of your complaints. Because honestly, if you complain about it, you still listen to us, and then you complain about it afterwards, you're the asshole. We aren't. Sorry.
Yes, you have been warned. I'm sorry I didn't put it in the title, but we are verbally saying it now. We are going to spoil the hell out of this movie, and we're not going to leave any detail out. This we figure if you're a true blue Star Wars fan, then you know you're just here to kind of hear. It's kind of like a post game for a football game for your team who just won, which my team did not, the San Diego Chargers, which is where my voice might be kind of screwed today, but yeah, let me get a little closer to my microphone there. But we are going to get into everything in depth as possible. Again, my name is Gary Buechler. This is the Nerdrotic podcast, and we are reviewing Star Wars Rogue One. Dennis, what is up, man?
Nothing really.
Oh, well, you know, he really came with his game on today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time out for Dennis to say that.
Thank you very much. Good night.
That was good night. Podcast is over. Indigo was going to join us. He might pipe in, but he's a little tired. He's in a food coma right now. But I'm going to repeat a few things that he said because he was a champ. And my son Indigo, by the way, saw this movie with me twice. So I've seen it twice. Dennis, you saw it last night at some ungodly hour.
I saw it at 11:30, and I was in what I call amusement park chairs. They vibrated with the movie, and they kind of moved around and stuff, which was interesting, and for the most part kept me awake during the slower parts, you know. And for me, I liked the movie. It was better than Force Awakens, but I didn't think it came anywhere near the original trilogy. I know a lot of people are saying that it's better than Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to say no, nowhere even near Empire Strikes Back, which I just watched again today, by the way. And yeah, there's some stuff about it that I honestly just kind of figured it really didn't need to be made, to tell you the truth. The guy who directed it, Gareth Edwards, he directed Godzilla a couple of years ago with Bryan Cranston. And Godzilla was the same thing. It was a good movie, but it was kind of just there. You know, it was something I didn't need to see in the theater. I saw it a couple of years later after it came out on DVD, or actually on cable, I think it was. And I enjoyed it, but I'm glad I didn't pay money to see it in the theater. I kind of could have waited for this one. I could have waited for this one to come out on rental, to tell you the truth. That's just, you know.
Well, and you came into this with preconceived. You got a lot of hate for Star Wars. It's been duly noted here, and
I was going in with an open mind. You were telling me it was really good. I had heard stuff that was really good about it. I was expecting it to be, you know, really good, and I kind of got what I looked at it as was just a kind of an average movie that had some Star Wars stuff in it. I mean,
in the immortal words of Dan Aykroyd, Dennis, you ignorant slut. I could not disagree with you more. I would tell you what, my son, out of the mouth of 20-year-olds, my son said something so wise today. We need to stop comparing it to the original trilogy. That, for one, they're old movies. They're old movies, and two of the three.
Then stop connecting them to the original trilogy.
Are AFI? Oh, stop. Let me finish. Are AFI ridiculously classic movies? So we're not going out to remake a classic. If they do, that's fine. What you're doing is you're adding to the storyline. We're expanding the universe, which this movie did perfectly. And if you want to compare it to original trilogy movies, It's definitely better than half of Jedi. It is definitely. I'm not going to say it's better than Star Wars or Empire because I'm not going to compare those things anymore. I mean, yes, they're connected, but they are the best. That's cool. We can have the best and have a good movie that isn't better than Empire. It doesn't need to be better than Empire.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it was, it was okay. It wasn't like,
well, I agree with you.
Socks off.
Okay, well then we'll we'll agree on it's not better than Star Wars and Empire. I've seen it twice. I will debate on I won't debate on Empire. Empire is one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made. Period.
Yeah.
I rewatched it again. We watched, actually, Indigo and I have watched 2/3 of the trilogy, part of Jedi, because they've been repeating it on FX. And it's funny. Indigo has not seen The Force Awakens, but now he wants to see The Force Awakens, and this is exactly what Star Wars set out to do. They're getting people who were kind of into Star Wars, who were a little bit into Star Wars, to get them to watch the original trilogy and have their own thing, because it's our generation. It's what we're attached to. But you got to have your mind open to new things. And the storytelling and acting.
This is actually they set this up. No, they set this up to be Star Wars for the next generation. Basically, for people who weren't around when Star Wars originally came out, to feel like same kind of love, if you will, for the universe and everything like that. And that's fine. I get what they're going for, but I just want a different story, at least, something that's gonna. I think
we got one.
No, I think
this was. We totally got one. This was so different than anything they've ever done. I mean, what your ex-roommate said was super correct. This was so Kurosawa. It was such a Kurosawa movie. It was well done.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't call it a Kurosawa movie. I mean, I think what they're doing on Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, is better. And that's just because, sure, they're interjecting a little bit of the original storyline into it, which I think I think removing themselves farther from the original storyline is where I want to see it going myself. I'm kind of tired of being stuck in the same. I keep feeling like I'm in a time loop, I think is what it is. And I just want something a little different from that,
I was initially totally against them making another prequel. I thought, like, who in the hell wants this? I don't know why they're going down the prequel road, because the prequel sucked so bad. And I know there's a bunch of retcon out there and revisionist history, but they are so. We watched part of those too, and they're just horrifically bad. Mm-hmm. But this movie kind of it really, and this is out of Indigo's mouth too. I feel totally cheated now, because this is what we should have had in the prequels. They were supposed to be tragedies, and Lucas tried to mix so much of his Lucasness into it. And Indigo was asking me, excuse me, again, I was at a football game. My voice is fucked. Like, what went wrong with Lucas? And you can start seeing it in Jedi, and it's the thing he made and the thing he envisioned turned into something he didn't understand anymore. It turned into a fans movie, and what the fans had in their head, and even though Lucas made this, he didn't understand it. And he still, to this day, doesn't understand what he made. He made this entire universe that he doesn't understand.
Yeah, and he thought he was making it for kids, and he wasn't. He wasn't making this for kids at this point. He should have been making it. Honestly, he should have been making it for teens and older. Is what he should have been making it for.
Yeah, and that's what this one was for. The people died in this one. Actually, most of the cast dies. There's your first spoiler.
Everyone dies at the end.
Everyone dies at the end. And when you compare it to Rebels, you can't compare. Rebels is good. I'm not going to bash on Rebels, but Rebels is a cartoon. Rebels is a cartoon. In this movie too. But it's a cartoon, and it's really simplified stuff.
Oh, it is. It is very simple.
And cartoons are money shots. That's all they are. So it's easy to do half-hour money shots, and you're not limited by anything because it's a cartoon. Rebels I'm not crazy about the animation style in it. I think it's
I'm not
okay,
either.
but
The storyline in it, I dig.
the storyline's pretty good. But I mean, it's not doing anything different than what Rogue One did.
Actually,
and
you
you're
haven't
bound by
seen
a
the
lot
last
of different
season,
things.
though, right?
No, I saw the first season, but it's a cartoon, dude. So I mean, like I have as an adult, I have a real problem, and this is just my thing of watching cartoons. I just don't. It's okay. You're an animator. I know you're into that stuff, and it's kind of like music for musicians for you. But yeah, just to me, it's just a cartoon. And it's a good one. It's entertaining, but it's not anything I'm going to sit down and like watch, unless my kid wants to watch it or something. But I felt like this was the movie they made for the adults. For the adults in the room. That's what this movie was made for, especially when it comes to K2SO, the droid, who was freaking awesome by Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk. I always want to say Andy. I don't know why. Wash. I'll call him Wash. There was so much I liked about this movie, especially the second time around. I was like, usually when I watch a movie the second time around, the slow bits like really get to me, but I didn't find anything really slow in this movie at all. I thought the pacing was spectacular. It was so much better. I mean, we could compare it to The Force Awakens, which this movie almost makes it look bad, which is funny because I'm at the tomato meter and I see that the Force Awakens is like 92%, which I don't get at all. I'm sorry, I'm never going to get that till my dying day. But Rogue One is at 84%, but this one is clearly a better movie. I mean, and everybody should know that.
That's why, and people don't like darkness as much as that's the reason why.
It is darker, but it's better acted. It's better written. It's better paced. Gareth Edwards. I wasn't crazy about Godzilla either, but he did a better job than J.J. Abrams did directing.
See, I'm actually a fan of his because I liked his first movie that he did, Monsters, which I'm a big fan of. Love that movie. And kind of disappointed with Godzilla. Godzilla was good, but it wasn't great. And then this, so I kind of had hopes for him coming into it. And I was just kind of like, I could have waited. I could have waited till it came out on DVD for me. Anyway.
Okay. Well, you, my friend, are in the minority.
I know. I'm in the minority. And I have no problem with that. I mean, that's variety is the spice of life, as they say.
It is the spice of life. But this one, it brought me back into Star Wars. I'm going to be interested in how they move forward. I'm really interested in how they move forward in The Force Awakens. With different directors, I think in better hands, it'll probably be a better movie. And maybe it is a good thing that J.J. Abrams kind of left everything so open. It was really super vague. So real writers can come in and fill it in. And God, you had a real writer. He had Kasdan. I don't know what happened with that. But let's talk about the movie at hand. I'm going to go over stuff I liked, which was so much. The first thing would be Felicity Jones. Didn't know much about her. Never saw her in anything before. My wife had seen her in some. I can't even remember what she was talking. She saw it's like some little movie she was in, and
she was also in one of the G.I. Joe movies, wasn't she?
Maybe.
I think she was.
I didn't remember her from that.
She was. She was Cover Girl, and gets killed, like in the very first G.I. Joe.
Totally don't remember that at all. But the first G.I. Joe is pretty damn forgettable. So.
Yep.
She was very, very good. She, as somebody who had to carry the movie, and she did a very good job. I loved. I wish I'd have my. I should have my IMDb up. Hang on. And what I kept on comparing her to Rey, which I shouldn't do. Daisy Ridley, who played Rey, and I'm thinking, God, she would have been such a better Rey. But it's not anything that would have happened. I just think she was a better actress.
My God, Forrest Whitaker was so horrible in this movie, though.
He was a disappointment. I wouldn't call him horrible, but I wanted more of his character because he was supposed to be the basically the rebellion's Darth Vader.
Yeah, who came in during the animated Clone Wars, by the way. So he is coming over from one of the animation sides. And he also is going to be in Star Wars Rebels this next half of the season. They're going to bring him in.
That's outstanding. I might watch them now because of this movie. I might watch the cartoons. But is Forrest Whitaker voicing the character or somebody else?
No, there was another guy who had voiced him in Clone Wars, and I think he's actually going to be voicing him over in Star Wars Rebels as well. Okay. I can't remember the actor who's voicing him.
So, yeah, I would say the most that would be, and I talked about that in my brief Facebook review, that Forrest Whitaker was his tone was a little hard to understand. But the second time around, once I understood what he was saying, I totally was fine with it. I wanted more of him because I wanted more development of that character. But if they're going to develop it in Rebels, and if that is indeed canon, and if somebody could I looked. So is the Clone Wars animated?
Yes, it's canon.
And Rebels is canon, is 100% canon.
Yep.
Which is totally cool. That's great. So I'll that now I know I have something to watch later if I have time. But I would call him if I was going to have a disappointment in this movie, that would be it. My only other disappointment was in the beginning. I didn't feel this way the second time around I saw it. I felt like they could have take the gas off a little bit on moving through all the planets in the beginning, because I wanted stuff to resonate a little more. But second time around, I was totally cool with it. So I don't know.
I didn't have any problem with. I know you were talking about that before I saw it. You were saying that you could have taken off the gas a little bit. I didn't feel that at all when I watched it. I mean,
Diego Luna was awesome as Cassian Andor. I'm gonna mess up some of these names. I loved him. I love the depth of his character. I love we had the rebel hitman, and you pointed out, and this is where they're adding layers to stuff. This is a rebellion. They are the quote unquote terrorist organization. So they're gonna kill people. They're gonna do dirty things. So this is the cool stuff they're adding layers to. Now, and Donnie Yen. Loved Donnie Yen. I loved him. And what was his partner's name there? I'm blinded by my light here. I can't find it, but I liked his little his boyfriend. Whatever.
Yeah, the guy with the big gun. I can't remember his name.
That was a big guy. They were the Guardians of the Jedi Temple. Yeah, those guys. Those two were my favorites by far. And it felt like. Like Indigo said, it felt like a war movie, but to me, it felt kind of like a war movie / Western, and done in the 50s style where everybody just kind of croaks at the end. And, especially compared to Force Awakens, the depth of story in this, it just felt bigger. I felt like I knew the characters more. It wasn't cookie cutter. Here's this guy you're supposed to know. And and I don't like having to watch the cartoon and have to watch the movies to get character development and rely on that. I would call that a negative, for sure. I'm going
to say one thing. The one thing I took me out of the movie a lot was every time they showed Grand Moff Tarkin, the Peter Cushing CGI was horribly done. It looked like a video game cut sequence, and if they just had added him in as a hologram or something else, to interact, or just hired somebody that looked like him, like they did for the prequels, and I think it would have been a lot better than actually doing the CGI, because the CGI just completely took, especially when they did Carrie Fisher's face too, near the end, and her one eye to the right here was way off to the side.
Spoken like an animator. Good God.
I'm sorry. It just really
I had a
me.
fight. I had a fight with an animator after we saw Shrek. And I'm like, God, I love Shrek. And he's all, I hated Shrek. And I'm like, why did you hate Shrek? Who fucking hates Shrek? The donkey, when he was walking, it just wasn't real. You didn't feel any gravity behind his. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Nobody fucking notices that bullshit. The donkey was funny. My kids loved the donkey. I can't see my 6-year-old going, it really took me out of the story because the donkey's feet didn't show any gravity. They cannot figure out how to move mouths in CG. As far as we've come, They can't figure that out. And I mentioned that too. Didn't take me out of the movie though. I thought, you know what? I was totally cool seeing Grand Moff Tarkin. I cannot wait until they do an Indiana Jones movie with a young Harrison Ford throughout the whole thing. Once they figure out how to move people's mouths, because that's the one that was the everything else was spot on. It was the mouth that just doesn't move.
Well, the skin,
I don't know how the hell
it just didn't look right. There was a lot of things that didn't look. It's the uncanny valley.
Human being. We can tell. You know, they didn't even get the Robert Downey Jr. stuff. They didn't get perfect either in Civil War, and they didn't get Anthony Hopkins' younger self in Westworld perfect either. But it still was good. You know,
it was actually those examples that you gave were a lot better because they were small little bits, and I'm thinking
they pushed the envelope on this one. I don't know. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you just didn't like it, did you?
What do you mean?
You just didn't like the movie?
No, I liked the movie. I'm saying there was a few things here and there that took me out of it.
I wish I could talk to the audience right now. If the audience was watching, would they say that you are coming off like you like this movie at all?
I'm not saying that I love the movie. I said it was a good movie. I'm not saying it was great. It wasn't my favorite movie. It was something, like I said, I could have left to see it on DVD. It wasn't something that I loved.
So I'm not going to go see it on 480p.
What? I didn't hear you.
You'd wait to go see it on 480p DVD?
No, I might see it on DVD.
Watch it on your Betamax there, old man.
I might watch it on Laserdisc later on.
Laserdisc. Shit. Oh man, Dennis, man, I don't know. I promised everybody on Facebook I'd slap you if you didn't like this movie. On live on Facebook, I might have to drive down there and smack you across your face.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
You need to learn how to enjoy something, buddy. Man,
I do enjoy movies, and this one, I said it was a good movie. I just didn't say it was awesome.
I wonder about what movies you enjoy.
What, like Big Trouble in Little China or
Big Trouble? Yeah, well, everybody likes that. Come on.
Let's see. Anything else recently that came out? Trying to think of anything
that's not a Marvel superhero movie.
Well, Marvel movies, yeah. I mean, Civil War, I loved.
Well, Civil War is great, and this one was too. You know, Star Wars pissed you off. I can tell.
It wasn't that it pissed me off. I'm telling you. I mean, it's just there's some stuff in it. I didn't see the point of it. It seemed kind of pointless to me, honestly, and. Her what's her name? Now I can't remember her name now. The main character. What's her name?
Jen Erso.
Yeah, Jen Erso was a MacGuffin. She was the MacGuffin in order to get the plot moving. Why would the Empire also put all their plans for the Death Star all in one location if it was something so secret instead of piecemealing it out? You know,
well, they did. That's why he decided to destroy. That's why Tarkin decided to destroy it. They didn't say everything was just. They said it's a citadel. It's where we keep all our plans. It's not where we keep the only plans. It's like a backup drive.
Oh, I know, but I mean, why would you keep that, especially that big plan, all of it together? Because they think their place is really secure and they don't respect the rebels. Well, remember, they wiped out the canon of this, you know, before they wiped out all the other, you know, stuff that came before in Star Wars and redid the canon. It was that the Death Star plans had been split up into multiple pieces, and it took the rebels years to get the plans for the Death Star, like 2 or 3 years, and in different, raids and stuff like that. In here, they just kind of conveniently had one location to go and get it. And they happened to have one person who would know what the code name was because it was her name that her dad called her. And, you know, it just seemed a little too convenient for things. And that was another thing that just kind of, you know, pulled me out of the moment.
I could nitpick Empire like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can. But, I mean, I'm not saying it was a huge thing. It's just one of those things that pulled me out of the moment. I was like, really? And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to let it go.
Well, maybe I'm just a simple-minded fool who just likes movies and likes them. You know what? And but it's worked for me so far. It really has. Why would they? I don't think they put like I said, this weren't the only. That's not the only place they put the plans. They thought it was secure. They have no respect for the rebellion at all, and they just took out one of their biggest cities and their biggest splinter organizations in one fell swoop. So they probably didn't feel very threatened. It was also a test of egos between I forgot what the Mendelssohn's character was. I'll look at it real quick.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The tech science officer, the science officer for the Empire.
Orson Krennic was,
Krennic, yes,
you know,
right.
he was trying to maintain power. You know, this is the deepest they've ever shown the Empire at all, and the rebellion. This is the most layered. We've basically, Star Wars has been a story about 4 characters. You know,
Yeah.
It's the Skywalker family: Han Solo, Leia, R2D2, C-3PO, and it's just what they're seeing. We're seeing what they're seeing. Where the prequels fucked up is they tried to show everything like you're watching CNN. This one went back to, we're just seeing what everybody's seeing. What we're looking through the eyes of the character. I guess she was a MacGuffin, but she was also the main character who we were following around. And she was used by both sides.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but
she was the MacGuffin in order to get in to see Saw Gerrera, so they could get the TIE fighter pilot. And then she was also the MacGuffin to access.
Well, they said the TIE fighter pilot separate from her, though. That way, there was a dual thing going on there. The TIE fighter pilot, you know, he defected by her dad, but he wasn't sure he was going to find his daughter. He had no idea.
No, I know, but I'm saying
it was the rebellion who found his daughter.
I'm just saying that she was the MacGuffin in order to get introduced to Saw Gerrera, so you get the TIE fighter pilot to move into the rebellion, because Saw Gerrera wasn't part of the rebellion. He was his own faction, if you will.
Okay. I don't know if that's actually a MacGuffin, though. A MacGuffin's a thing.
A MacGuffin's a thing. Yeah, I know.
Falcon. It's a thing that we go after. Yeah,
it's a Deus Machina. Deus Ex Machina is what they call it. You know, to move it, move the plot forward.
I've always hated the turn. Yeah, and the plot moved forward very well. It was a very well written movie. It was as for all those reshoots we were hearing about, whatever they reshot, which was a lot because we didn't see a lot of the trailer stuff in the movie. I thought it was very well done.
I think it was the last.
The clapping I heard.
The thing was the last
clapping I heard after the movie. The clapping I heard after the movie was louder than what I heard for The Force Awakens.
Wow,
that's all I know. In the theater I was in.
It was, but then again, it was 2:00.
Hooping and hollering. Yeah, it was 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday night, dude. I went Thursday night at a 7:00 show at Century Daly City, and people were on their feet whooping. Right, Indigo? I mean, it was like the end of a football game. It was crazy. I didn't hear that loud for Civil War. It's been a long time since I heard somebody that loud, and a lot of people echoing what I was saying now. A lot of people say that when they're out of a movie because it's their nostalgia, it's their childhood. But I'm way past that with Star Wars. I am so far past that. I am not, my childhood is a long fucking time ago, and I don't long for it. Okay, I like my life now. I was just very entertained, and I was happy that we got a good Star Wars movie. I was happy for the Star Wars fans, which I guess I'm not really one of anymore, but I'm really happy because I'm talking the mellow, normal Star Wars fans, the well level-headed Star Wars fans who aren't nutbags. They deserve it because they put a lot of money into this, a lot of time, some of them too much, and they deserve something good. They do. I mean, they're freaking loyal. Crazy, a little crazy, but they're loyal,
So we got a lot of cameos in this movie too.
Yes, we did.
We got a lot of cameos.
There was 2 I didn't like. There was the first one I didn't like.
You mean the guys from the cantina?
Yeah, I didn't like that one. That one did feel out of place to me.
Plus, also, how they get off of out of Jeddah City before everything exploded to get to Tatooine.
They must have got out of there before it exploded.
Yeah. So there's that. R2D2 and C-3PO. We had that. We got the Darth Vader castle playset. The Darth Vader castle.
What was that?
The Darth Vader castle playset.
That was rad. I need that put back into Star Wars. That was freaking awesome. And yeah, it kind of reminded me of what's his name from The Incredibles? Syndrome. A little bit, his layer.
But who's fucked up enough to give Darth Vader a castle on the place where he lost his legs and his arms?
Well,
and
are we
burned?
sure it was at the same planet?
Yeah, it's the same planet. It's Mustafar.
Okay, maybe he just decided that's where I was born, so I'm gonna go and have a castle there. Maybe he took over a castle. We don't know. Maybe doesn't he have that? Isn't that in Rebels? Didn't I see that before?
No, it's not in Rebels. They've never shown it. That was actually supposed to be in, I guess, Revenge of the Jedi or Return of the Jedi.
Oh, that was it a Ralph McQuarrie?
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and look at that. It was rad. I was like, yes, fuck yeah, dude. Oh my god, everything Darth Vader in there was so perfect. It was so fucking rad. I loved his cameos.
I know you like the quip that he said. I actually just kind of shook my head. You know,
of course, Dennis. Of course you did.
It just didn't sound like Vader to me.
It what?
It was a little too corny.
The movies.
It was a little too corny for Vader.
Apology accepted. Come on.
Yeah, the apology accepted. I know. I mean, don't choke on your words, kind of thing. And I'm like, really, man? Come on. He's not that obvious about some.
Don't choke on your aspirations.
Don't choke on your aspirations.
But he still left him in charge. You caught the whole thing like the guy was choked, and he still smiled afterwards. I thought that was rad. Oh, it was so well done. That was one of the best scenes in the movie. You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, dude,
and then I guess great. Darth Vader's valet or whoever it is supposed to be Darth Snoopy or Darth Snope or Snake or whatever. His valet who's introducing Krennic.
Yeah. Yep.
That supposedly is Darth Snope. Snoke, whatever his name is. The one from Force Awakens. Yeah.
That's supposed to be him?
That's supposed to be him, supposedly.
Nah, it's not him.
That's what they said.
Who's they?
They being internet? All the people that have been on the internet that have, what is it? I've heard Chris Gore say it. Nerdist, I believe, has said it. IO9 has been saying it. So, it's been around there.
So if he was going to be Snoke, why wouldn't you just get Andy Serkis to play him? Why would you get another guy to play him?
I don't know.
And why would you not play him anything like he acts? And he doesn't look anything like him either.
Well, he's supposed to be, remember, disfigured now.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't even the same race. I'm going to call wrong on that one. We don't know who Snoke is. He is supposed to be somebody completely different. We'll see. I say no. I say he was just he looked like a religious disciple of the Sith, kind of like a priest, yeah, kind of like a follower. He could have been, but I don't think it was him. The voice didn't sound anything like it. You think they would have made him sound a little bit like the voice. If that is indeed Snoke, that was horrible, but I don't think it was. So there it is there.
We also got Chopper from Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. He was on the platform off to the left, kind of, at Yavin 4, rolling along.
I have to rewatch it for that because I wasn't looking that hard for people I haven't seen.
Yep. Also, the Ghost, the ship from Star Wars Rebels, is in there a couple of times, about 4 or 5 times. And they even mention General, I can't remember, it's over the loudspeaker. At one point, you hear General, it starts with an S. I can't remember her name.
I heard that one too.
That's actually Hera from
the only reason I heard that one is the reason. Okay, so I just heard a general's name mentioned over the PA, so that has to be somebody. Yeah. That's why I turned around and that told Tim what. God, I don't know why. Poor Tim. Tim Dyer is my buddy who goes to all these premieres for me, and he is kind enough to save my family seats while we're at work. So he goes in the movies early. He plots out our seats for us, and he is forever on our Christmas list. He's a wonderful person for doing this because he does not have to, and I tell him every time he doesn't have to. But he has to put up with me. I babble through movies. You've gone to movies with me. Me and Melissa talk through movies quite a bit. Okay? So I'm just saying we're breaking stereotypes because we talk just as much as anybody else does in the movie, and I'll leave it at that. We're like, ooh, we better not go in that room. He's fucked. That's me and Melissa. Don't go to a movie with us. We're noisy. Yeah. So there was the C3PO R2D21. You had to have them in the movie because they're supposed to be in every Star Wars movie. That's the one edict.
Yeah.
So it wasn't perfect, but it was just great to see. I love R2D2 and C3PO. The first one was, I'm like, nah, you didn't need to do that. That was one you did not need to do at all.
Actually, my favorite part of the movie, I have to say, for me, was when the three of basically what's her name, the guy and the robot are in the elevator, in the rebel base, and the robot says, "I've got a bad feeling." Shut up!
Shut! That was great.
Made me laugh.
You didn't. Okay, the K2SO was basically our business partner Steve Reeder in robot form, he's a very he is an amazing guy, and he's a snarky hairdresser, and that's what K2SO was.
K2SO, he's actually it's Chopper. It's the same thing as Chopper in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, well, I don't know who Chopper is. So we're talking about Star Wars Rogue One and not some cartoon that nobody watches. Okay.
Actually, a lot of people watch it.
A lot of people watch it, but not everybody. So we're talking about Rogue One. I don't watch it, so I have no idea. K2SO was
Star Wars fans watch it, so that's what I'm gonna say.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. But we are also podcasting for non-Star Wars fans. If you all want to go see Rebels, Dennis likes Rebels. And when Dennis likes something, he likes it to a point of getting a restraining order. But he only picks
to a point of getting a restraining order. But
it's kind of like my feeling meter. When my wife always jokes around when I hurt. Did I hurt your feeling, Gary? And it's like a big board, and it's like a big spinning board, and to hit my hurt feeling is like this little sliver on the board. That's how many feelings I have. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not. I kind of do. But that's kind of you liking something. It's this little spinning, it's like a roulette wheel, and you bet on black, but black is like this little hair.
It's not that bad.
It isn't that bad, huh?
No.
Dennis, we might have to do a podcast intervention on you, my friend, because I'm like walking, I'm like, Dennis is gonna like this. He's gonna like this movie. He's gonna like it a lot. And I think I think your preconceived hate for Star Wars blocks your enjoyment, and you need to let that go. Life is too short, Dennis.
It's not a hate for Star Wars. You think I have this hate for Star? I have no feelings for Star Wars whatsoever right now. I mean, literally nothing.
Okay. Huh? Which is worse than hate. It's apathy.
No, it's not apathy. It's like I go in for entertainment, right? And for this, like I said, it didn't hit me one way, it didn't hit me the other. It just kind of left me in the middle of the road. It wasn't the end all be all of movies like everyone else thought it was.
No, I don't think it is either. But I think it was a grand slam of a Star Wars film. I'm not going to call it an Academy Award winning film. It might be. It's not better. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it more than I enjoyed Civil War this year, but I definitely enjoyed it more than anything else movie wise I've seen this year. I can't compare it to TV stuff that I've enjoyed more, but we're talking about Rogue One and walking out of finally. I think what's most important about this is we can see where Disney's going with this. And it might take them 10 years to hit this, guys. Sorry to say. But this is where we want Star Wars to be eventually, which is not tied into the Skywalkers or anything from the original trilogy. And we want it to be this open story and this open world. And you can refer to people all you want. And you don't have to make every movie about a Jedi. Actually, I think I love Jedis being in the background. I love Jedis being this thing that's special, that comes in once in a while, that's earned, kind of like magic in the beginning of Game of Thrones. Before magic, there's not a lot of magic in Game of Thrones. There is magic, but when you do it, there's consequences. It's dangerous. It'll backfire on you, and it's crazy. And that's kind of what the Sith should be in Star Wars. Star Wars should be Game of Thrones. It absolutely should be Game of Thrones. You can do your kid shit. You can make your rebels and all that all day fucking long. But I think Disney better realize that if they want Star Wars to move forward, millennials aren't going to give a flying fuck about Star Wars. They are not. They're cool. They're into it right now, but they're not going to be fans to like the original fans were. Because millennials don't buy shit. They don't buy toys. They don't. I mean, they just don't. So they're going to want to keep. Don't make the mistake comic books make all the fucking time, which is we're going to alienate our loyal readers to chase that dragon of new readers all day long. So that's where I think this movie succeeded the most, and it was unexpected because I was kind of like. I was of the ilk when I walked in there. I'm like, okay, I heard the good things, but I still think I saw all the good shit on the trailer. And I heard all these good things before Force Awakens. And my first viewings of Force Awakens, I did not like it. I walked out of there like not liking it. So for a lot of reasons. And I've kind of gone back and forth on it a little bit, but now
this isn't about Force Awakens. It's about Rogue One.
Yes, it is. But you can't tie it in. So I walked in. But I was, I'm getting to my point there, snarky bitch.
I had to throw it in.
I walked in I walked into this one with the same kind of feelings, and I walked out super happy. Okay, and just that's it. It was a good movie. I don't care what anybody else thinks, but. I think this is a new hope for Star Wars. I really do. As long as they keep this tone, everybody wants Empire again, and this is the closest in tone to Empire that they've gotten since Empire. It's not Empire. It's not better than Empire. It's not The Empire Strikes Back. It's not directed by Irvin Kershner. It doesn't have Han Solo in it. It doesn't have the same story, but tone-wise, it is alike. They are alike.
Near the end of the movie, there was a lot of New Hope jokes that were in there.
Jokes?
Yeah. Like people kept saying, they kept saying stuff about hope, and it was actually referencing the New Hope, the next movie. Yeah. And I was like, really, guys? You guys are going, you're actually kind of doing this like little in-joke thing. And
I don't know if it was an in joke. It was a keeping of the theme. It was Diego Luna's character said rebellions are built on hope. And Jyn Erso repeats it during her speech that fails to try to rally the rebellions. And we had the great actor who played Barristan Selmy say one fucking line. And it wasn't even a full sentence. And then it is said by Princess Leia at the end. So I don't know if it was repeated. It was repeated 3 times. And we're going into A New Hope. It might have been one time too many. I don't know. It didn't bother me that much. Because I thought it led into New Hope fucking rad. I mean, like I wanted to run.
I did like the tie-in. I did like the tie-in to New Hope. That was interesting. I saw where it was going about 30 seconds before it did, and I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool. They're actually tying it into the beginning of New Hope, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. Now we know where that came from.
For one, oh my god, I loved. I wrote a short story in high school. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it ended with 2 lovers making out on the beach as a nuclear bomb fries them. And they did that in this movie, which was rad. And I was ripping off Dr. Strangelove. Again, not going to bore you with the story. But it's basically about it's a pizza delivery man and another girl are the last 2 survivors on Earth, and then they get blown up in a nuclear bomb on the beach. It's a dumb story. But I love that they did. That's how they went out at the end, getting fried. And what I kind of thought the movie was going to end there, but I knew I had heard fucking internet, but I heard it tied in really well, so I knew it was going to keep going. And my favorite part was, of course, the Darth Vader part. The Darth Vader part, I mean, that was the best scene in the movie. His lightsaber lights up the darkness, and you actually get to see Darth Vader like kick some real ass and cause fear into real life people, not cartoon characters, not animated 2D cartoon characters, real life people on a screen. And I love the fact that they were running the plans and you know, closing a door, and they handed the door open, and the lightsaber goes through the freaking door, and Darth Vader's kind of walking through and like just flipping people away, and you know, like actually moving, you know, because the guy in the costume before, David Prowse, was practically paralyzed at the time. He could barely fucking walk. And they just needed a tall guy to be in the costume. And that's the one thing I did see in Rebels that they borrowed from Rebels is Darth Vader kicking ass, like absolutely kicking ass. And that's cool to see. If you're going to bring him back, do that. Unfortunately, it now makes me want them to redo it in the original trilogy. And I know it's sacrilege, but I thought that was cool.
Thought it was all right. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very cool. I wonder if there was any truth to the rumor that they were going to actually try to bring Darth Vader back in The Force Awakens or in the new trilogy, because that was one floating around for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, God, no. That would be horrible. That would be the worst decision. That'd be the worst decision ever. Worst decision ever.
It's almost as bad as, you know, replacing Force Anakin, old Anakin with young Anakin. Oh, wait, they already did that.
I just saw that. That is.
I did too.
Yeah, you see that. Like, all my good feelings of Star Wars almost go away when I see that. I'm like, oh, fuck.
And you know, the thing is, I tell myself every time, I got to turn it off before it gets there. And just before it happens. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. I know. I wish they would stop showing that version. Can we just put it back, for fucking Christ's sake?
And you know what also bugs me about that one too is they redid the Ewoks, so they blink and their eyes move.
Yeah,
freakiest fucking thing in the world. It really is. I mean, I didn't realize how freaky it was until I was watching it today, and I'm like, yeah.
They always blinked, didn't they?
No, because they did. All they did was they had the guys in the suits and they were moving around, and they never blinked or had their eyes move until he redid the CG.
Okay, so the only time I always either fast forward or just stop watching when the Ewoks come on. The only time I watched it all the way through was when they re-released Jedi, and I did like the ending they added to it. It looks terrible now that you look at the horrible CGI, but I like the song. They took away the
Yub Yub song
and put in
like Yub Yub was great.
Yub Yub, yub yub. Oh my God, I'm sitting there at the end of this going, I sat for 6 years for this shit. Are you fucking kidding me? And of course, you know, I was like 13 when it came out, so I was like starting to already get pretentious. Yeah, fucking, you know, so yeah. This movie is better than fucking Jedi. Now that I think about Nub Dub, yep, it's better than fucking Jedi. Sorry, it is. And Loop type. What was the original bar scene in the also in Jedi, just to bash on it a little more, Star Wars fans, that desert scene special effects stuff in Jabba's palace was shit. I remember thinking it was shit then too. I'm like,
you mean the stuff he added?
Fuck? Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, the stuff he added was just horrible. With the little.
It was bad enough from the original. No, the adding was bad too. It wasn't good at all. So yeah. So Dennis mildly liked the movie.
I thought it was okay. I'm not going to say it was like the best.
I guess that's the best we're going to get from Prince of Darkness there. I will give it.
Listen to me.
Throw around. Fuck you, Ash. Fuck you. I
swallow
don't
your
throw
soul.
around tens. You got to earn tens with me, and that's in all things. And you got to earn ones. I don't throw ones and tens. Just throwing it around. These are for special things. I will say that I'll give it 8 out of 10. That's how much I like that movie, bitch. That's how much I like that movie. It was fun.
I'm gonna go 7 out of 10.
Okay. I give it 8 out of 10. There you go. So Star Wars Rogue One, we have reviewed it. Is there anything in the news world that we want to discuss?
Zsa Zsa Gabor just died at 99 years old.
I heard that today at the Charger game, and my reaction was everybody else's. Is she was alive?
I know. I said the same thing, and I forgot that she had actually she's been in a coma, I guess, for a while, and
she got married while she was in a coma.
She might have been. Who knows?
For a 10th time. Sorry, too soon.
I know she had lost a lot of her money, and at one point she was living in some mansion, and they were trying to keep her, even though she was in the coma state, in the mansion. And this is like years ago, probably like 5 years ago.
Well, I think some rich person was taking care of her.
Yeah, somebody was taking care of her, and so now she's slapping cops wherever she's ended up now. So,
yep. Well, good for her. I mean, she lived a good long life. Oh my God, my battery's exhausted on that one. She lived a good long life. That one she did, and was married 9 times. So every 12 point something years she got married. That was pretty good. Good life. Well done, Zsa Zsa. Was she the one in Green Acres, or was it her sister?
She was the one in Green Acres. Yes,
she was the one in Green Acres, and Zsa Zsa was
which I heard was the place to be, by the way.
It was. It's the life for me. That's it's the life for me. Yeah. So you know what? Actually, it's one of the most sexist fucking shows that ever was put on. He drags his wife, who doesn't want to go, out to this farm, right, and makes her live this life that she's totally against. It's like, and she's just expected to go with him, like that shit.
Well, it's because she was spending a lot of money. That's why, and he just wanted her to stop spending money.
Well,
he was.
You know what you got into, buddy. Yeah. So what
another
else?
news. NECA Toys is going to be making the puppet for Ashy Slashy next year.
Ashy Slashy puppet. That can go with my Angel puppet and my Spike puppet. That's very exciting. Yep. And somewhere around there, we have a George Lucas puppet, right? So
it's someplace in your basement, I think. I don't know.
In my house. It is someplace in my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have. I put up the trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Troll Hunters. It's animation, so Gary's not going to watch it, but it's premiering on December 23rd on Netflix. So it's supposed to be really good. It's, of course, Guillermo del Toro. So
yeah, that's awesome. I love Guillermo del Toro, but it is animation, so I probably won't watch it. Oh, dude, the one trailer I saw that, like, I am so fucking done with animation is Baby Boss or Boss Baby.
Yeah, come on. They always put out crap like that every now and then, and
holy fuck. I mean, I thought it was a joke. Like, this has got to be a joke, right?
Now, if you really want to see a really bad trailer, it's that movie with what's her name, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, that everyone keeps saying. It's not Sing. Sing is the animated one.
Oh.
I can't remember what the one is that they're in, but everyone keeps saying it's an Academy Award nominee and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, when I was sitting in the theater and I was watching it, I thought it was a joke. I thought that it was going to burst into like some kind of parody. And I'm like, no, I'm waiting for it. I'm like waiting for it. And no, it was actually real the way they were doing it, and it was just horribly done.
What was the name of the movie?
I can't even remember the name of the movie, to tell you the truth.
It was that movie. You sound like the old lady in the video store. You got that movie with Ryan Gosling. It was the movie, where they sing.
You know that movie. You know that movie. Where they sing.
You're right. Like
I
Boss
can take
Baby,
a look at it right now.
If they make a parody movie about like focus groups making animated movies for kids, it's the perfect one. It's like it's like, you know what it reminds me of is Scrooged. It reminds me of something they would have come up with in Scrooged is Boss Baby. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen Scrooged, why are you watching this podcast? You are not a nerd.
Scrooge is awesome. La La Land is the name of the
La La Land. Yeah, movies are in bad shape. If they're not made by Marvel or Disney, wow. I don't know, man. I'm not too hopeful. So, yeah. So we have got Star Wars came out. So what's the next big thing coming out, man?
We got Passengers coming out next week, which I heard is god awful.
Yeah, no thanks.
I actually wanted to see it until I heard, the reviews of it, and then I'm like, oh, wow, really, it's that bad.
Well, there's no cool Christmas Day movie. I mean, there's a bunch of like ones, but but the next Marvel thing coming out. Do we have anything coming out in February?
Yeah, we have Logan coming out in March.
And that we also have Iron Fist coming out in March.
Yes, we do. And you just froze up
to
on me.
enjoy
Oh,
Star
there you go.
Wars.
Now you're back.
Yes, you're freezing up too. But hey, we'll end this now. Dude, I'll talk to you from San Francisco in the next couple days.
Okay. Well, actually, we should get together in a couple of. You're going to be down here for a little while more, right?
Yeah, for a little while more.
Yeah. We're going to get fish tacos. So
there you go. Oscars. There you go.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. You can find all our videos and our podcasts at nerdrotic.com. You can find all of our videos on our YouTube channel, which is the Nerdrotic channel, and like our Facebook, which is the Nerdrotic podcast. Dennis,
And enter our contest.
In our contest, you win Comic Outpost variants, and I will put information. There is information on the website. Look at the very top post and click on it.
Oh, yeah.
Take us out. Take us out.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness, and may the force be with you. Woohoo!
I am the force, and the force is, I don't know.
I am the force, and the force is with me. I am the force, and the force is in the force. I am the force of the force of the force.
And I am the forces of the force of the force, of course. And that is the force, of course.
Of course, the force. Bye-bye.